Okay, so today is 16th March, 68 days to go, and I haven't been making videos for the last 2 days. Uh, Basically, to admit, I have like sort of being lazy also, and plus there was some tests also, but I do not want to blame it on tests. It wasn't like I could not take out 10 minutes each day to make a video. But yeah, anyways, coming to the tests first. So basically, I gave three tests over these 2 days. One was the science and tech subject test based on my test series. On that, I scored 107. So basically, that 200 question strategy that I did apparently worked. So that is a good thing. Apart from that, I gave two like all India open tests. One was the Insight Step Up 2. In this, I scored 84, which would have been 94, except for there were four questions that wanted me to identify the not correct or incorrectly matched or incorrect statements, and I went for the correct ones. So based on that, I lost about 10 marks over here, and this is something that I have to actively work on. And once that is sorted, it could have been 94 over here, so that would have been a good score, but 84 is a bit unsatisfactory, also given the fact that I knew answers to like 94 marks worth of questions. So yeah, that is there. But Anubhav 3, the performance has been a bit underwhelming. 79 was not what I had expected. I had expected it more to be in the range of 85 to 90 at least. So yeah, but it also helped me identify some key weak areas that I need to work on, and so I will be focusing our efforts there. So that is a good part. I think the point of taking these tests is to identify the weak areas and keep working on it. So I'll keep doing that. Apart from that, uh, today's day also sort of I haven't documented it, but there wasn't much that I did also. Um, So we'll start right now. It's 7:23. So based on this, I've planned a 2 hour slot for polity revision, in which I'll be focusing on historical background, features, citizenship, etc. Basically, everything according to Lakshmikant that comes before fundamental rights, right? So everything that comes before that. There's also a question set, PYQ set of 50 questions here. So I'll also try to do that 50 question set in this. So that is the plan. That is the immediate plan. After that, I realized that world mapping is one area that I've consciously neglected till now. But I need to work on it in order to not miss out on the easy questions, because these are pretty easy questions where you have to map the where you have to match certain like landforms or certain places in news to their continents, their countries, and so on. So it's not particularly a very difficult thing to do. And once I'm done with this is one of those high ROI uh, topics. And so we'll try to cover this in a sequential manner. Devote 1 hour every day till I become confident of it. So world mapping we'll do from 10 to 11. Now, even in the Anubhav third that I mentioned about, there were a couple of questions. So there was one question that could not do, which wanted me to identify the countries of Natanz, Bondi Beach, and there was this one more, Donbass. Right. So if I had been following the world mapping along with the places in news, I would have identified that Donbass is Ukraine, but but I got confused between Donbass, whether it is in Israel or Ukraine. Similarly, Bondi Beach, I got confused whether it is Australia or New Zealand, and so I wasn't able to do those questions. There was another question that was about matching oil regions in the Persian Gulf, right? So that is something that has been in the news recently all over the place because of the US Iran Israel war. But again, since I hadn't read up very thoroughly on it, I wasn't very sure. And so there, even if these two questions were right, I would have been sitting on something like 83, 85. right? So again, that is one area that I really need to work upon. So I have decided to consciously build it into my schedule. And the other thing is international organizations, another region where I think there's a massive scope for improvement. And so international organizations also will be covering comprehensively. I've tried to classify them based on what is the kind of organization. Currently, we'll be doing UN and other developmental organizations. In this, we'll get BRICS, G20, G7, uh, OECD, and so on. So, right, so all of these organizations will try to cover. And once we have covered that, we'll obviously have a more sort of broadened understanding of which organization is there and which organization is for what purpose. So basically, there will be a couple of things that we'll need to cover. Membership is definitely a very strong area that we need to cover. But yeah, apart from that, also as we do it, we'll get to know what all we need to cover in a more comprehensive manner, right? So that we'll do in this 2 hour slot. Apart from that, there were a couple of more things that I wanted to talk about briefly. One is the importance of a consistent strategy. Now I realize that um, I often like sort of make strategies, but I'm unable to follow it for more than like 3 4 days at a stretch. Now to overcome this, I'll be consciously reverting to the 200 question strategy that I'd previously discussed about. And so we'll be doing this 200 question on a religious basis from tomorrow. So that is one. uh, and anyways, this strategy will is like the plans to get over by 31st March. So if I realize that this doesn't work out by 31st March, uh, I'll anyways be forced to switch to a different strategy, so we'll switch to a different strategy. But if it does, we'll go ahead with our with analyzing our AIOTs, and we'll move to AIOTs after this, so that we keep the momentum going. Second thing I wanted to talk about is anxiety. Now, anxiety uh, becomes very heavily associated with this exam. Also, given two factors. One is that test scores are fluctuating, so the test scores are not stabilizing, and you need some sort of stability to understand where you're going. And so that is one thing we need to like really work about. Second is that the realization that you're not doing enough. So oftentimes I realize uh, that I'm just not doing enough that I want to do or that I am supposed to do. And based on this realization, you sort of go into a downward spiral. uh, so to get rid of that, what I've decided is that I'll be making these videos also on a religious basis. uh, what it helps in is that you're forced to analyze what you've done, you're forced to commit to something on an everyday basis. And now that commitment, that okay, today I'll be covering this no matter what happens, is something that helps lower the anxiety. And there was some quote also that the best way to overcome fear is action. So I think I'll be following that. And there's a positive thing, that is there's a lack of audience over here. And a lack of audience helps you to like be accountable to yourself. And since no matter whether there's an audience or not, I anyways have to go out to a video and like at least accept it to myself that okay, I did not do enough today, right? So that sort of helps to uh, remain accountable and fight the anxiety that is there and that is associated with the exam. So yeah, I think based on this, the we'll get back to polity that we have to do right now. That's it.